All right, yo, here it is. I hope I have the words. I hope they all come to me today. Being in love with a woman is some kind of thing. You know, there's different levels of it. Love takes many different shapes over, the path of time. And honestly, being in love with my woman is basically almost all I know as an adult. My entire adult life I've spent with one woman, and it's the only point of view I know how to speak from. I never really familiarized myself with single life or anything like that. So, know that when I speak, that's the angle I speak from. So, people who are juggling different women and living that life, single life, dating through lots of people year after year, that's not something I'm familiar with. So my points of view are expressed solely through a person who's spent really most of my adult life with the same person. I was 20 when I met her on my 19th birthday, but we were really official since I was 20 years old. And the love takes many different forms. Young love is different than the current space that we're in right now. When you go through things together, that's how you know you really love somebody. What love really is. Love is staying on the same team throughout the entire battle. Not getting flipped. No surrender toward the common cause. I think if anything, that's what me and my wife have, is that, we're soldiers in the same war. That's our own love. And, how we got here, it's a journey. It's a journey. It takes time to get comfortable being in the space that we're in, It takes the amount of time and time together for those possibilities to even unravel in a healthy way. And it takes a lot of other circumstances too, right? I genuinely believe that we're a rarity. We're a rarity. I know I watch a lot of people outside of me. I watch them struggle, I watch them struggle with relationships, and, watching others makes me grateful for what I have, what I've been able to accomplish, what to live through, When you really love somebody, you're gonna die 1,000 deaths together. Little deaths, little parts, little things happen, Another thing too is that, me and my wife, we're just not typical United States citizens either, right? Like, there's a lot of people who, maybe they start off early in a relationship, but, they both still kind of live separate lives, go do their own little work, go to their job, pursue their each own career, meet each other at the end of the night, right? That's really not how me and my wife have got down either. We're always up under each other's ass forever, and that's not even saying it in a bad way, but we've done everything together. We get in on ventures together, and we just go for it, we worked a job. We met at a job together. That's where we met, and we always just hustled together. Like, this is what we're doing. We just go from thing to thing, it's always like this one more. It's more of a common goal, and we were very entrepreneurial. So a lot of times, we didn't even have jobs. We'd just be doing what we do, but we do it together. We spent a lot of time like that, and we used to, I know when I watch outside relationships and I could see things happening, and I'll be like, yo, that shit is toxic. And I know it's toxic because I know what that shit looked like. Like I'm in the best relationship that I know of in familiar circles, right? Like I'm in a pretty healthy relationship, but we really good off and we still toxic, right? Me and my wife still have toxicities. Like come on, we not above no shit. For sure. And when we were younger, if you knew us, we were wild as fuck. We were crazy. There's probably people that knew us back then that if they came around now, they'd be like, oh shit, they still together. I mean, people know they're still together. Everyone knows that we're meant for each other. Like that's the one thing about it. Other people will tell us, they're like, yo, we know that you two are meant to be together forever. Like we see it. But also, we be scrapping too. Like, you know, I did not marry a soft person. You know, she does have softness, but she's not a soft person, right? Like, you know, she gets busy, but she is soft though at the same time. And peeling back all of those shells that strengthened outside is really what this whole journey is about, really. You know, if you want to put it that way. That's really what the whole journey is about, you know. Like you can't do this shit. Like what we do, you can't really do this in the same manner that we're doing it if your woman has already had all of her you know, fast times or promiscuous times, right? If you know, and I don't even judge like that, whatever, right? Everyone did crazy shit when they were younger. If you're a promiscuous young woman, now you're settled down, to double back, that doesn't really make sense to me. You know, what makes sense to us in the way that we're doing what we do is that we gave all of our younger years to each other wholeheartedly, even through that toxicities and the things that we went through as young people to get to where, you know, to get grown. Even with all of that, we've graduated into this and we feel like we deserve it. We deserve this moment. Like when I watch my wife, whatever she's getting, she deserves it. She's earned it. We're going to go down the path today. So how did we land here? How do we land here? When we're all that each other knows, those things that we went through, you realize that time is short, life is short, you know, and on the back, you know, since we have given those years to each other, there's a sense of safety. And instead of me and her going through the war together now, we enjoying our gold years, you know. I'm just talking about our golden years. Like, me and my wife are going to look back on these years as our golden era, and I already know it. We're creating our own legacy the way we want to write it. We're writing our thing, right? So with everything I'm about to say moving forward in this podcast, you know, if you've ever been hitched up with a woman that got mad bodies, or you got mad bodies before you ever got to where you at now, chill on passing judgment. This is grown folk shit. I don't really, you know, the only things I judge sexually is things that don't have moral or code to them, you know, children or non-consent, things of that nature. I got no problem with the gay community or whatever they want to do, right? But that has to go to consent too, right? Like, if you're not, like, I don't parade what I do around on people that don't want to see it, right? We live on our own, and for the most part, most people I know, I don't really, you know, talk about sexual things with my normal people like that, right? It just, you know, maybe here and there, if anybody who knows like kind of what we do in the industry and shit and what we're doing with Brooklyn. Outside of that, That's how it should be. But this is a podcast, and if you're listening to learn about sexual shit. So let's talk about sexual shit. I think naturally, the way that it goes for most people in a relationship is your man, woman, a couple years go in or whatever, and man is always testing and feeling out to see if she is down with a threesome. The answer to that question is gonna have there's various types of women who are with and not with that, and there's a lot of layers to all of that. But I think that's the natural progression, right? That's the natural thing. I see it all the time. I've had conversation with lots of fellas. Okay, yeah, is your girl down with threesomes? How she feel? And there's a wide range. Some women are very, square, or they act very square in that manner, or just aren't about women. Which is fine. And then there's others who are totally open to it, and various degrees of that. But it's never the other way around. And for good reason. Because I think trust has to be established, especially in a man's mind, right? Like, that's the thing. Like, if you get into a relationship and within like the first year or year and a half, y'all trying to swing or do anything with any outside people, like within too short of an amount of time, and I'm talking about years. Like, it really shouldn't even come up in the first few years of a relationship, in my personal opinion, unless the relationship is just based on that. And with that, you're probably not looking at somebody that you're gonna go all the way with anyway, right? So that's not what I'm talking about. Again, my perspective is from that of a person who's been married and committed to the same person for my entire adult life. So with that being said, right, nothing should really come up, but the natural progression of it is the guy is usually going to drop the hints first. He's going to throw out the feelers first. Can I get a threesome? Listen, I'm no different. I'm not without that fault, of course, right? And I'm lucky enough that, I had a wife that obliged me a few times earlier in our life, Nothing crazy. I'm addicted to my wife, man. I don't give a fuck about these hoes and shit. There came a time, I know anybody who consistently follows what me and my wife say on these type of things, you might know some of our story. I'm going to skip over the hard times today, and I'm going to go to where things started to really click and manifest and make sense for us, right? So there was a moment that came where I had to realize as a man what my future looked like, and what I had built so hard to work for years and years and years, like building my foundation with my woman. I almost destroyed it in a matter of 3 months. Circling back upon that, I have my big light bulb moment. I have my moment where I get a chance to make sure I make things right this next time around, right? I have my moment. Some of the best stuff that's ever happened to me in my life happens after that moment. I've committed myself fully, knowingly in my spirit, that there's no doubt that I'm going to succeed at everything that I need to do for me and mine, my family, right? And then we just fell back into the groove. We fell in love all over again. And it's really the best thing that's ever happened to me. Because of the comfort. Because of the things that we had been through. Because I have this woman who I know would pull a pistol out of her waist and kill 12 people for me or more. She would die with her life for me. I know that in my heart. I decided I wanted to return the favor. I decided that I wanted to watch her get pleasure. Most guys want to just be like, yo, let me just get, you know, her girlfriend or whatever, and they can do a little lickety, you know. But I'm like, nah. Let's see what this shit's about. So there it is. I've let my wife have some other fellas. It's true, people. It's true. And if you've made it to this part of the podcast, congratulations, right? You're probably not a nosy fuck because you probably couldn't listen to all the other shit I just said until I said that. But if you're lucky enough to have listened this far, we're going to continue down this path. And boy, oh boy. Now, see, that's some mind testing shit as a man. I have a lot of old school man code. I ain't no different than the average brother, right? I'm really built the same way. But I'm telling you, it's about how hard you love somebody and actually being ready for that shit. And boy, I tell you, I'm in love. I love my woman with every fiber of my being, and I know she loves me the same way. And when you get that, you can go there. And if you don't have that, you'll probably never understand. And most people I know, most fellas I know be like, nah, I never let no dude hit my chick off. And that's true. Yeah, like, you know what? If my wife went and cheated on me in an indiscretionary way, and, you know, that would devastate me. The thoughts of that would crush me. But the way we get down is not like that. I love watching my wife take dick. Love it. Sorry, I do. Watching Brooklyn X-Rated suck dick is my fetish. It's my fetish. I love it. I could watch her do it all fucking day. She looks fine as hell. And she's good. And she's having fun. And we're having fun. And she's reciprocating back with me. And we just on. This is who we are. So there's a lot of layers to this shit, right? So the first thing people are going to say, or anybody who just heard me say that, is going to be like, oh shit, Dom King is a cuck. No, absolutely not. I do not deal, or we do not deal in shame or humiliation, which is a big part of that. There ain't no humiliation going on. This is something that I created for her. And man, since we started, I've been unlocking new levels of my woman that some of y'all are never gonna see in the woman that you're with. And not in a great way. Like, you have to understand the traumas of our past, the people that me and her are, where we came from, what we overcame to get to where we're at. You have to understand all of that stuff to even have a fraction of understanding for what we do in this, right? When you truly love somebody, you get rid of the jealousy, the anger, and some of those things that have been projected onto us. When you get rid of that, and you watch your woman have pleasure, there's nothing like it. Nothing. If you really are in love with that person. My wife experiences it with me too. When she watches me, she's experiencing that level. But this ain't about me, it's about her. And I didn't even know that it was a fetish of mine. Like, when we started fooling around, and you know, you go gradual with this too. It's not like on day one I was like, yo, fam, blow her back out. No, that's not how it happened. I have all my little ways about me, right? And the character of the person plays a big part of it. It's not just anybody, right? I have my methods, how we introduce these situations or do what we do. I'm not going to go into those details, but they're there, right? So qualifications have to be met. Circumstances have to be correct. The character of the person has to be tip top, right? Grown people shit. We're not doing kiddie things, right? Can you pleasure my lady? Right? To me, it's the sounds for me. I love listening to her sounds and her breaths, watching her. It's a different perspective. You probably never get it. You know? It feels good to give. It really does. I'm a giver. And then there's some incredible sessions of domination that genuinely happen, after that, right? Like, me and my wife have crazy good sex anytime after we've had one of those type of encounters, and it's lasting. We go into, the domination and the submission where she submits to me, and we over the course of days, we play out these, we're playing out all of our wildest fantasies in real time. Most of y'all motherfuckers is afraid to do that shit, or mad that you don't have anybody to do that with. And I'm sorry. But part of what we do here is to maybe help people kind of figure out what they're looking for, or what they'll settle for. That way, if you're a person out there and you're not already locked up with somebody, at least you might make a good decision on the type of person that you want to get locked up with. Or hopefully we can set some sort of example for what can be healthy. Because we've been through the unhealthy, we're getting to the healthy, and me and Brooklyn are exploring all of our wildest dreams right now. Like, we just living it out, putting out content. Again, if you knew us 10, 15 years ago, nobody would recognize us in our character, which we're, in most ways, we're the same people, for real. Like, in a lot, in as far as like how we conduct ourselves in daily life and regular stuff like that, right? But now we've added something on, and it's something for us, everything that we've come through, everything that we've, everything that's happened for us to just be where we are, is all necessary for us to be where we're at and to express ourselves in these ways, right? And even me just saying this on a open podcast I'm going to put out to the world is a step in our direction, right? This is something for quite a long time that, we're not necessarily going to really just bring that up to anybody, because it's really nobody's business, right? So even though we're Brooklyn and DK and we do our thing and we have our parties, and I'm sure people suspect all sorts of stuff about us and everything, you've never heard me or her ever out loud confirm anything like that, really, until now. So again, it's a coming out of sorts. It's a step in the right direction. And I'll probably go into detail about maybe some of the things that we've had or done, and we might even give you a taste of some of that stuff in upcoming content. So if you're listening to that and you have watched our content, look out. We're gonna blow your fucking minds pretty soon. It's going down. It's going down. And again, it's rooted in love and passion. It's rooted in trust. Man, Brooklyn, the look in your eyes sometimes. Like, there was this one time. Yeah, she was bent over and she was getting handled from the back. And not all like crazy either. Like a good pace, like a nice good pace. And I was sitting in a chair in front of her, holding her hand, and our eyes were locked. Like, they didn't move, shake. And literally, that's the kind of shit that's like the most intoxicating fucking feeling ever. Like, You just can't understand it. I'm hoping that you can. You know, like just usually whether it be a male or a female, usually the extra person in the room is a vessel through which me and my wife communicate. And that's probably giving away too much information. But that's basically what it is. When she treats me, when I treat her, when we find ourselves in these situations, it's always something going on between me and her. The other person is just a very fortunate bystander or participant in our little charade, right? Don't get me wrong, you could, if you're receiving those benefits, you're blessed. But it's really about what's going on between me and her. And like that locked look in her eyes, never, not even breaking that stare for minutes as she got closer and closer to climaxing. And then before she could climax, move them out of the way and take her all the way down until she finishes. In the way that she's clenching. It's crazy. And then maybe she could, finish them off or whatever. Like I said, her head game is strong, people. It's strong. And it's an amazing sight to watch. For me. No doubt about it. Don't judge me, motherfucker. We all got our shit. But it's based out of love. It really is. Like, me and my wife, we ain't really been with people like that. We started so young. She was 16 the day I met her. We both probably fooled around with a couple people or something before that, but not really much action at all, right? At all. Like, my wife was no fucking fast slut when she was a teenager, and I wasn't quite racking all the bitches back then neither like that, I'm kind of a quiet in the corner type, so like I wasn't like my peers at the time who would go woofing and chasing women around. It's just not that's not in my character. I wouldn't do that if I was a single man now. Like, it's corny to me. I just sit there, be quiet. That's how I do me. So that's a big part of it too. As I said, if you're a woman, you done had all that promiscuous time. If it took you 35 bodies to find your guy, that's dope. Probably shouldn't put another 35 on there on the back end. You're gonna need that dub. Me and my wife got 20 plus years in this shit. You're gonna need that dub. We didn't even start doing this type of stuff until 10 plus years into this shit, into our shit, right? All that stuff has to develop. It takes time. I couldn't imagine. The other thing too is, just to throw this out there, is that like, this isn't like it's not a fetish. It's not a fetish of mine because of the actual act. It's a fetish of mine because of the person who I'm enacting it with. Like, I can't envision myself with another woman in another relationship wanting to engage in those type of activities. This is strictly an exclusive to Brooklyn X-Rated, and her energy and who she is and how we've created this, lifestyle together. And she's the only person I would want to do this with. That's the whole fetish, is her, and exploring with her, my partner in crime, my ride or motherfucking die. That's my slut. That's endearing to us because we know what we're doing. We're having fun. Too many tears have been cried. Too much blood has been shed. A lot of soul has been taken in this life of ours. And we're now, me and her, taking it back. One by motherfucking one. Piece by piece. Recreating ourselves in this new image. And the image has nothing to do with others. It has to do with me and her. It's the image that we see within each other. Bringing the best out of each other. We feel excited after we have adventures. We wake up feeling great. Like I said, the sex it carries far beyond the one moment. You know, it's better. It's usually better than the actual moment was. The dirty talk, the submission, you know. I love that shit. Our minds have all been trained about sexual morals by people who didn't know what the fuck they was doing. It's time to retrain our minds. You know? And not that I don't advocate really for anybody to really do this shit. Male, bringing in men or women, right? There's mistakes that get made there too. We're not above that. Again, that's a different story. That'll be like advanced class. This is beginner shit. This is you. This is the listener for the very first time listening, you know, to me unveil what I'm talking about. I don't advocate for it. For many. And as you do, you know, it's simple boundaries. I would say this, like, have conversations and then react accordingly to the way that the conversation hits you in your gut, in your core. Like, you know, for me, one night, you know, me and my wife were laying in bed. So this is like kind of how it all started, a big part of it started. And we would talk about fantasies, and we had even fleshed out some, again, common style she gave me, you know, a lady, you know, here and there, when we were a little younger. But up to this point, you know, we'd done some like, you know, the way our journey began was more like doing like voyeur, you know, exhibition type shit, you know, like, hey, you know, take off your shirt in this crowd and just, you know, that used to be exhilarating as fuck. Like, wow, like, my baby's topless in here. Holy shit. Like, look at everyone looking at them pretty ass titties. Like, wow, you know, and then it went topless to bottomless, then to like bottomless to like little play. Oh, give me head in front of this crowd, you know, take the steps. Every little step. What's your boundary, right? When you're having these conversations, you know, what hits you in the gut, or what makes you like nauseous, or you don't like it, or if, you know. So again, we're laying in bed. We're talking about fantasies and this and that. This is before we had done anything, like, you know. And I told her, damn, I think I'd like to watch you, you know, suck dick. I think that might be sexy looking. I was like, you look sexy when you do it, you know. It would, you know, from that point of view, that'd be wild. We're just talking about fantasies. So we talked about that for a while, and I asked her, you know, what it would be for her. And she's like, yeah, that sounds, you know, that would be hot, this and that. And then she said, but if I'm going to do it, she's like, that's work. And she's like, I want to take some dick if I'm going to do that. And for me, that was kind of forbidden. Even in my mind, I had already kind of processed the thought, like, okay, it might be sexy to watch her give some head, but then like actually fucking her pussy, no, like I was not about it. Like in my mind at that moment, but when she said it, like a thought hit my head, and the way she said it, and the trust that we have. And it wasn't in like no hurtful, disgusting manner. It was like in a sexy manner. And that shit, it turned me on. And that's how I knew. That's how I knew that, you know, I would be willing to explore that. Because my wife ain't never in no part of her mind ever asked for any of this. She's not forcing me or you know, dominating me into this position. I'm not no fucking cuck. You know, they got other names for some of this lifestyle shit, but I don't really like to associate myself to any titles like that. We're not that, right? You know, hot wife, we've used the term a little bit, but again, that usually comes with the cuck shit. Vixen, you know, that one's a little more relatable as far as from where she comes from. But we're just a happy couple who likes to have fun and are pretty damn open-minded about things, as long as the vibes is organic and me and her are working, you know, in a cohesive manner. And we've gotten there, you know, and it's beautiful. And so, you know, after that night, that was the conversation that did it all, that one night. And then we just decided, you know, that opened up more conversations, and we decided to start exploring, you know, and figuring some of this stuff out. And that was, you know, that conversation was some time ago, and we're at a different place now. And where we're at now is even way better than that. And it's a beautiful life. I love you, Brooklyn. Love you with all my heart and my everything. And we're about to show the world what time it is. You know, we only got this one thing. Why waste time? Damn. I think that's it. I dropped the bomb today. Welcome back to Train Your Slut. I think moving forward, we'll start getting off into some more layers of what I've revealed and kind of the different angles we shoot from and shit. We'll start talking about some more stuff. But until then, people, DK out.